Hey guys, I wanted to talk about the coming full moon that will be there in my part of the earth on the 7th of October, and for others it will be on the 6th. It is I'm saying this a lot lately, but not a normal full moon. This is a very profound one since it is ending the solar eclipse that has been happening in the end of September. It is a completion of what has been initiating, and of course, this is not a full completion because averagely eclipses have their influence for half a year. Um, and I'm not gonna lie, it's a deep one. I'm gonna read to you the Sabian symbol of this upcoming full moon in Aries. It's called a Native American weaving a ceremonial blanket, projecting into everyday living the realization of wholeness and fulfillment. Are you feeling it already? In Christian tradition, one hears of Jesus' seamless robe. In Asia, one is told of the spiritual vesture of the perfect ones. The individual who has attained the spiritual state is figuratively robed in the universe, and more precisely, the Milky Way and the great white robe of interwoven stars. This is the ultimate kind of weaving. There was also Penelope's weaving and unweaving, waiting for the return of her polarizing mate. The mind of the American woman, in which these symbols took concrete form, could think only of indigenous weavers. For the white man who was hungering for symbols of a state of living in total harmony with the universe, the aboriginal can be glamorized as the answer to the inner emptiness of the city dwellers, surfeited with artificial values. At any rate, we may thus prefigure a future state of fulfillment in conscious harmony and unpossessive love. If this symbol comes in the consciousness of the inquirer after meaning deliberately or though an aleatory act of revelation, like the act of throwing sticks to obtain an I Ching symbol, implied is the profound fact that every individual has his ultimate conscious task, the weaving of his immortal body. His Gnostic robe of glory. It may sound very mystical and far out, but there is a moment in every cycle when, however small degree, every individual may be confronted with the potentiality of a fulfilling act of self-realization, and may ever so relatively find himself clothed in light for an instant. This fifth stage of the third fivefold sequence of symbols ends the first of the 24 scenes. We are told by it that the fulfillment of desire is a possibility at whatever level and in however incomplete a manner it may be experienced. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Yes, aren't we all in search for the ultimate fulfillment, and aren't we all doing that in our own level in consciousness? As already explained in this Sabian symbol, some are city dwellers seeking fulfillment in material, sexual, food, that kind of fulfillment. Others are searching it in their twin flame. Why do I do this? I really don't believe in a specific twin flame, because what it's ultimately reminding us is that love is something we have to become. And that's why I want to address this full moon in Aries to the ones that have realized this very fact, that we are needing to start living from the inside out instead of from the outside in. This polarity of Aries Libra has been going on since March 2023. So go back and feel what it is that has been directing you to go inwards and find that fulfilling on the inside instead of um, extracting it from the outside world. This is a cycle that is very potent, and it will come to its climax, so to say, with this full moon, especially since we have had the solar eclipse on the anaretic degree of Virgo, and its opposition of Saturn being at that point also on the anaretic degree of Pisces. So there has been a big ending that needed to start happening. And with that solar eclipse, there has been seeded a new glimpse of what then. If we don't do this anymore, then what then? But it has been a difficult one because it was on the solar eclipse was on the anaretic degree of Virgo. So it wasn't only a beginning, it was also a culmination of how we were used to go about things in life. And I want to address this full moon, especially to the empaths. Why to the empaths? Because almost every one of you guys are an empath. And almost, I don't know if everyone, but almost every single one of you is aiming for the highest. You have been crystallizing, you have been purifying, you have been squeezed and suppressed, and so all the purest drips of essence have been pressed out of all that was fake. And now you start realizing what it is you have been aiming for all your life. And I've sensed very strongly that you have been realizing already for a while mentally, but now it is it's becoming an embodiment that you as an empath, I'm talking about we, because I'm also one of them. We are starting to realize that we have to start living from the inside out. And that is a very beautiful sentence, of course. You hear that a lot, living from the inside out, not from the outside in. But truly embodying is what Virgo has showed us. It's not about beautiful talk anymore. It's about walking your talk. So the full moon, the coming full moon is the opposite of Libra, and as a lot of you guys already experienced, a lot of empaths are not at all in harmony with this axis. We tend to be way more involved in the Libra axis by always looking for harmony in contact with others, by merging ourselves too much, leveling too much to keep the harmony, to keep love alive. What never, it wasn't love what we kept alive, it was survival that we kept alive. And so we have been developing, especially in a very rapid pace since the eclipses started happening from March 2023, and in the Libra Aries axis, that we needed to desperately come to terms with the Aries side of it all, to become more centered, to let life evolve more around us instead of others. Um, and this is truly, I already mentioned it in my past video. I feel this time frame, this full moon, but until February, when Saturn and Neptune are going to cross over to Aries again. This is the birth and the dying of something big, and the dying is the crucifixion of the empath. The empath cannot go on like it has been for centuries. This is not only a personal path, because this is a collective energy of the empath. The archetype of the empath is one that needs a higher vibration, that needs a deeper consciousness, that needs to become in alignment with selfhood. Because when we keep on living from the outside in, we will stay sponges, absorb everything around us, carry burdens that aren't ours to carry, and you will never be able to blossom. You will never be able to bloom open. This time frame is really meant to do some deep inner child work, because that is where the empath was after all born. In families where there was no space, room for individuation, for the individual, for your own desires, for your own feelings, for your own energetic space. So this is a very challenging time frame for the ones who come out of pretty dysfunctional families. And we need to start taking responsibility. That is also Aries, taking responsibility for the emptiness. And that is also what the Sabian symbol is about. What have we been doing with that emptiness up till now? How have we been filling that up? And this full moon is already letting us know that we have to make a decision in what quality of consciousness we want to keep searching for desire. What do you aim for? Do you aim for a 3D fulfilling, or do you aim for the embodiment of God within you? That is the choice you ultimately are making at the moment. And maybe it's not even a choice. Maybe you are just like me, are being dragged and molded, because your soul already made that choice even before you incarnated. And then we are talking about the holy marriage. That is the marriage of the divine feminine and divine masculine inside of ourselves, to become love. And then, and only then, are we able to become true healers, true lovers, true connectors to the outside world. Much love.